Hey everyone, hope you had an awesome weekend. I had a great weekend for a couple of different reasons, which I will get into. And while today is going to be an update video, I'm also going to be talking about a semi-serious subject matter. Side note, I woke up very early this morning with my dog having shit in the bed, and then I guess moved around and smushed it around, and then there were turds out in the living room. It was just a morning. So I don't feel like getting too terribly deep into the serious subject matter. I had a great weekend because of the UFC. It's back after over a month of being off. And for those of you who don't know, I personally have been sober from alcohol for 2 months and sober from weed for 3 months. And while I had chose to be sober because I came very, very close to having a problem with alcohol and I did have a problem with weed, I decided to celebrate on Saturday by doing both. It was actually very important to me that I still be able to enjoy these things from time to time for very, very special occasions. I've done that before, but I was making excuses as to what or was not a special occasion. So this was actually a special occasion. I celebrated, and now I'm just back to being sober. But there's something that I didn't realize about being sober that I wouldn't have known until I actually enjoyed these things on Saturday. Specifically with weed, and that's that, yes, my tolerance for weed had gone up insanely high because I hadn't missed a day in like 2.5 years. But that being said, there were days where I would smoke less or I wouldn't smoke before bed because weed inhibits your REM sleep. But I realized this weekend that when I drank and I smoked, I didn't feel like I actually got more intoxicated or higher than I did before, which is counterintuitive because I've had a tolerance break from both. So I should feel the effects more, right? What I concluded from what ended up being an accidental experiment is that I was doing both of these things so much that when I was sober, I actually wasn't completely sober. Especially from weed. I mean, I didn't drink every day, but I definitely smoked every day. And for the first 3 weeks of not smoking, I felt the same. But after those 3 weeks, my head started to get clearer, and even more importantly, this is one of the biggest signs for me, is that I started sleeping better. I have way more dreams now, and they're much more vivid, and when I wake up, I feel more well rested with less sleep. So those 1 or 2 nights a week where I would try to not smoke before going to sleep, well, that wasn't helping because I already had so much THC in my system. It took 3 weeks for me to detox to get it out to get better sleep. But also my head during the day just way more clearer. And I realized that it's not about how high or about how intoxicated I get when I drink or smoke. It's that the difference between enjoying those things and then being sober is greater now because I've been on a tolerance break. You know, I'd get high or I'd get drunk and I'd come back down to here when I was sober. And yeah, I was sober for the most part, but it makes me realize that I wasn't there all the way. And that's crazy to think about, that I was for a long time in a perpetual state of being kind of high. Some weeks maybe even being a little intoxicated. So now more than ever, I enjoy being sober even more because I had one night of enjoyment, and it absolutely made enjoying those things more enjoyable. So I'm actually really, really happy I did it. There's definitely some urges since Saturday. Yesterday and a little bit today, there's been a couple times where it's like, I could go for a smoke or something like that. But I'm just pushing them aside. I was already mentally prepared for this before Saturday happened. I knew there was going to be some urges. Actually, less than I thought anyhow, though. So I'm feeling really good. I'm very happy about the whole thing. Overall, I just had a very good weekend. Yesterday, I kind of mostly just chilled out afterwards. I wasn't hungover. I barely drank any alcohol. I dumped out the rest of the vodka that I got. I got way more than I needed. There's a tiny bit of weed left over. That went in the trash. I was so serious about just having one night of enjoyment and then moving on and going back to sobriety. And I'm proud of myself. So I hope you also had a really wonderful weekend. no matter what you did. I know it's still strange times that we're living in, but sports might be coming back, so who knows? The UFC's back for now. I've heard rumblings that other sports might come back. If you're not into sports, then who gives a fuck, I guess. But I'm happy, I'm excited, and hopefully I'll have more good news for y'all about my continued journey next week. Peace.